All right, welcome to our RTX30 series launch live stream. My name's Anthony.
And I'm Kelvin. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I think most people know why we're here, and that's for the sales launch of NVIDIA's highly anticipated RTX30 series cards.
That's right, Kel. In fact, we went over the data from some previous launches, and I can confirm that this launch is not only the biggest generational performance improvement ever for NVIDIA, but we've also had more consumer interest than even the GTX10 and the GTX9 series cards, which were widely considered a very successful launch. So we're all really excited to be here tonight.
Absolutely. So while we wait for the 11 p.m. launch, let us run you through all the key information. So currently we have stock of Gigabyte, EVGA, Asus and Zotac cards, both in Western Australia and Victoria. They're all available from 11 o'clock tonight, and MSI is not too far away.
And as always for NVIDIA launches, with NVIDIA launches, we've got pretty limited availability. We're expecting to sell out of cards tonight. But one thing I can say is that we've got more cards available tonight than we had for the RTX20 launch, and we've got more cards than we had for the GTX10 launch. So I think we're in a really positive place for stock.
Absolutely, that's fantastic news. And I'll top up that good news with the fact that all RTX30 series cards come with a free copy of Watch Dogs Legion and are exclusive to PLE. We're offering the first 100 cards sold to receive a free anti-SAG bracket, either the RGB Deep Cool Brace or the minimalist Lian Li one, which you can barely see once installed.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great offering. And tonight we've also teamed up with Zip Money. Zip offering 12 months interest free on all purchases at PLE computers over the next 4 weeks. So I think if I purchase over $1,000, which is pretty much all the 3080s, so I think there'll be a lot of people that take that up. Zip Money's a hugely popular service.
Absolutely, and we've also got 2 big giveaways to announce tonight.
Oh, yeah, we do. We are giving away tonight. We are giving away this Gigabyte RTX 3080 Eagle.
Nice.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. So entries open for this at 11 p.m. So we'll give out a link and a code word at 11 p.m. and you can and you can enter onto the website with the code for a chance to win. We'll be drawing this at 11:35. So tonight, someone's going to win a 3080, and in the morning we're going to pop it in an airbag, and they're going to get it
straight out the door.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's awesome.
Quick turnaround, love that. But that's only half the story. So we're also giving away this complete powered by Gigabyte RTX 3080 gaming PC. That competition runs for the next 2 weeks. So more info on that soon.
In fact, really pumped to have this system here to give away tonight.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. It's massive. It'll be a massive plus to my gaming setup.
Yeah. So I guess we've got a little bit of time before 11 o'clock rolls around. So maybe we should have a quick talk about the tech behind RTX 3080.
Cool, absolutely. So DLSS. So that's a proprietary technology developed by NVIDIA using deep learning in some versions to produce an image that looks like a high quality image. So essentially you can upscale from something like a 720p source and upscale it to 4K, and it will look near enough to a 4K image. The old versions of DLSS didn't look as crisp. The new generation with these new cards that's coming out looks a lot sharper and crisper, and does look a lot more like a native 4K resolution. So GDDR6 is the world's fastest graphics memory. Put simply, this means that the GPU can pull a massive amount of data from memory in an instant, and that's going to lead for better games. Yeah,
and I guess the thing that everyone's really pumped for is the version 2 next generation of NVIDIA's ray tracing technology. So I guess, you know, probably most people that are up here watching tonight have an understanding of what ray tracing is, but we'll run over it. It's obviously computing the graphics that are getting displayed on your monitor in a format that's more in line with how light actually works in the real world. Ray traced reflections, shadows, ambient occlusion, all those sorts of things, you know, We've seen some great stuff from NVIDIA with their launch in relation to Fortnite, where you can see reflections in mirrors and that sort of stuff, and it'll be really interesting to see where it takes us with competitive esports with that sort of technology. That someone that's on a GTX card that doesn't have ray tracing might not be able to see someone coming behind them because of a reflection.
Absolutely, and it's the other benefits are NVIDIA reflex, so the latency side of things. So NVIDIA has delivered the ultimate competitive advantage by reducing system latency. So you can acquire targets faster than the competition, react quicker, and increase your aiming precision through a revolutionary suite of technologies to measure and optimize system latency for competitive games. NVIDIA Reflex's low latency mode makes your PC more responsive to mouse input, which can make the difference between winning and losing fast-paced games where milliseconds matter. Support for new NVIDIA Reflex low latency mode is coming soon to Apex Legends, Call of Duty Black Ops, Cold War, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Warzone, Destiny 2, Fortnite, and Valorant.
Gee, it's a really great lineup of games that are really starting to embrace some of the extensions that NVIDIA have put out on their RTX platform. When we first looked at the RTX30 series last year, everyone was looking at the tech demos and they looked really cool, but when we got to actually playing them, we weren't always getting the frame rates or the resolutions that people were after out of a high-end graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're really turning the corner with what we're doing with RTX 3080 and of course 3090 and 3070. These are going to be some great value cards when you take the price to performance considerations into account. And it's really great to see the publishers getting involved, because if the publishers aren't on board, then we're just never going to see the fruit of it, are we?
Absolutely, it'll kind of turn out like a Tress FX from the other camp. Absolutely.
Yeah. But of course, that's great that there's all these titles that are coming up that are going to be using this technology.
Mm-hmm.
But what we all want to do is buy one of these and play some games now with it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I can't wait to get my hands on one.
Yeah, so I mean, right now, when you get your hands on one of these cards, we can now play Fortnite with the latest drivers. We were having a play around today with Fortnite on the RTX 3080, and it was really good. It's got support for reflex, so the low latency, and in a competitive esports title like Fortnite, what you're wanting is low latency from when the action actually happens to getting that render on the screen. That could be the difference between getting shot or not.
Absolutely. So Valorant's also supporting the reflex from September 17th. You can actually test that right now if you have one of these new cards. More ray tracing is coming from future titles like Cyberpunk 2077. That's one of the most anticipated titles of this year. I'm super stoked to get my hands on that.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's also supporting DLSS, which if we do get a chance to show it off on stream tonight, we've got Control, I think, the game.
Yep.
So that's currently rendering at 720p and rendering out at 4K. And it's actually getting some pretty high frame rates, and it looks near enough to 4K from what I saw.
Yeah, right. So your output 720p.
Yeah, the graphics card's
and
rendering at
DLSS
720p. And
up to 4K.
And
it looks good.
And it keeps a high frame rate as well, and that's with
nice.
RTX on.
Awesome.
So that's super exciting. We've got Watch Dogs from Legion from Ubisoft. That's going to be using ray tracing as well with DLSS. Call of Duty, as we said before, Apex Legends as well. So I think they're like some of the biggest titles that are out now are all looking at supporting it.
The elephant in the room is, of course, Minecraft.
Well, of course. We had a bit of a play on that today as well.
The 8-bit game that's all of a sudden ray tracing.
Yeah, it blew me away. Like, you wouldn't think that that's sort of the title that would support that. It's it's very interesting. Like, it's a title that I played years ago, and I wouldn't really think they'd do much to the graphics, but here we are playing Minecraft with RTX.
I have play of Minecraft with the kids.
Yeah, of course.
And with Java Edition, you install all the mods and get all the graphics up and all the sweet texture packs with that. But the ray tracing takes it to another level.
Absolutely,
it's really exciting. Wow, it's getting close to 11 o'clock, and I know that everyone's pretty excited to go and get their orders in. So basically, at 11 o'clock. We've got our website getting all the products live. The best place to smash that F5 refresh button is going to be on the RTX 3080 landing page that we've had out on our socials and in our email newsletter. That'll be the first place that all these cards appear on our website. And from 11 o'clock, you'll also be able to configure custom builds with the RTX 3080s in them.
That's awesome.
So excited.
I guess, do we want to talk about like power supply recommendations here?
Gee, we must be getting onto that. Look, it's just so close to 11 o'clock. I'm not sure if we can dive into another topic, right?
Sure.
But it's been really challenging, you know, with such a short period of time between when we actually get these products and when we've got to get a custom build together, and then of course have an opportunity to test it out and get a feel for the technology.
Absolutely.
Because these cards they're fresh off the press. You know, these are arriving today. So that we can get everyone out there for their graphics cards tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
And in WA, you can do click and collect, get on there tonight, order a card from your local store, go down tomorrow morning at opening time, and you'll be playing by morning tea.
Yeah, if you have to beat the queues though.
Oh.
We've seen some pretty big queues recently.
There were a few people that rocked up this morning. Unfortunately, we couldn't sell them a card.
They were very keen, however.
Yeah. So how are we going for time? We must be very close to 11 o'clock.
On the cusp, I'd say.
9 o'clock. How good is it in Perth? 9 o'clock.
Is it 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock. Too easy, hey?
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, head to ple.com.au/RTX30 series for a chance to win a card on stream. Enter the code word and tell us why you need this card. We'll be reading some out on stream. Winner we announce after 11:35 tonight. Win the PC. Which game would you play first with this PC? Winner drawn in 2 weeks' time from today.
Wait, we got to wind this back. What's the code word?
What is the code word? That's a good
It's
question.
in here somewhere. Oh, the code word. You want to win the RTX 3080 Eagle? The code word is the Eagle has landed.
Love that.
It's a throwback. All right. So, RTX 3080 card.
Yep.
Giveaway tonight. You've got to go to the website. There's a Gleam competition. You've got to put in the code word, and you have to. There's an entry requirement for. You have to tell us something. It tells you in the Gleam competition.
Yeah. So why do you need this card?
Why do you need this card?
Why do I need this card?
Why do you need this card?
Yeah, really.
It's got to be entertaining, right?
We're going to read this out as well, so make it good for us.
Yeah, we're looking for something entertaining, and yeah.
Oh, do well.
Wow, website's busy.
Very busy. Week 404.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's going to come around. I think the interest is pretty high.
I can imagine so.
Yeah. Maybe we might just go back to our promo video, and we can jump back into the stream as soon as we've got ourselves back up and running.
think the website might be back up, guys. In the meantime, we're going to do an unboxing. Who would like to have a look at the latest RTX 3080 from Gigabyte? So this is the Eagle version. So currently in this build, we're running the OC build. So the Eagle version has a better cooler, but it doesn't have the OC BIOS like the OC version. All right. So the paperwork that no one ever reads, get out of the way, and there it is. Watch me drop this. All right. All right, there's the back plate, and as you can see, these versions do have the through PCB, much like the Founders Editions do. So I'm not sure if everyone's been keeping up with the current leaks, but that's it there, if you can see without the reflections. Cool. All right, well I might jump around to the other side now and install this in our open bench. Remove that before I break the new card. I think last time we did a live stream installing a new generation card, we forgot to plug in the PCIe cables. I don't think we're going to forget that one this time. It's about as messy as my hair. Let's fire it up. Okay, I think we're booting. So that was pretty simple. So NVIDIA currently are recommending power supply sizes of around 750 watts. If you're using a bit of an antiquated power supply like I am with multiple 12 volt rails, you best check how high those rails are rated for. Essentially, you don't want to overload a single rail. One of these cards can potentially pull around 400 watts overclocked. Or in that ballpark figure, so certainly you might be overloading a single rail if that's something you were looking at doing. For people wanting to water cool these cards, EK have blocks for most of the range currently, and they're due to land on the 23rd in Victoria and Western Australia. The EK Strix blocks are to be announced, and the Bixby blocks are to be announced as well this time. I think we've gone through the anti-SAG stuff, so we've got the Lian Li one as well as the Deep Cool RGB one. All right, I guess at this stage we've got the final reminders. So the 3090. Oh, welcome back.
Oh, I'm here. Good news.
What's happened? What's happened?
We're just provisioning another fibre optic line into the building at the moment.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we are at all the web servers are pairing away. We just run out of capacity on the fibre.
Could imagine.
We have another fibre connection at the building where the data center is.
Yep.
So we're just rerouting half the traffic over to the other fibre backup fibre line.
Fantastic news. Okay.
And we should be back up and running shortly.
Just stop mashing F5, guys. Okay, so I guess, yeah, where was I up to? Announcing that the 3090, that's on shelves in 24th of September. The 3070 is to be announced in October, so we don't exactly know when that one's coming out. Keep an ear to the ground. We'll keep everyone updated on socials. Yeah, I think that's...
Did you read the quick guide?
The quick guide? No, I didn't.
Does anyone read the quick guide?
No, I was almost throwing it over my shoulder at that stage. Exactly.
I suppose the person that gets the card might want it. Oh,
potentially, maybe. Do they need it for warranty?
Cool. No, you don't need it for warranty.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
You don't even need the packaging.
Okay, yes.
It's nice to get the packaging back though when things are faulty. It makes it easier for us when we go back to our suppliers. But you don't actually need it.
Exactly right.
Yeah, right. Have you taken my script?
I think I've taken the script.
Oh,
that part back. So
it's like a comedy of errors here. All right, so where were we at? We're talking about power supplies.
Let's talk about power supplies. I've ran through the release dates for the 3090,
Yeah,
the
right.
3070 TBA.
I want to talk about cases.
Okay, oh, fantastic. Yeah, great one.
Yeah, so we ran through the top 50 gaming cases that have been bought in gaming PCs on our website over the last 3 years, because we found that the cards are quite big. Obviously, a concern as we've been building, and what we found is that 90% of the top 50 cases in the last 3 years will accommodate a 325mm gigabyte Eagle 3080.
Yep.
But
Okay, there's always a but.
if you have a front-mounted radiator,
Mm-hmm.
that drops to 50%.
And then you chuck fans on top of that, and you're running push-pull as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So measure your case, guys.
Absolutely, absolutely.
These are big.
Uh-huh. And I guess if you can mount fans, some cases you can mount fans on the inside of the metal shielding, and some you can actually mount them on the outside of the shielding, depending on the front panel. So potentially,
Yeah.
if you're running them on the inside, you can push them to the outside, like the Fantex cases.
Just got to be creative. Don't
Exactly right. Yeah, you maybe run them all on the outside of the case, all sticking out.
we? Yeah, yeah. We've seen some pretty funky PCs come in
Absolutely.
for service over the years. You know, we've got one at the moment at one of our stores in WA. It's actually two cases that have been screwed together for water cooling purposes, and copper pipe that's been bent
awesome.
between all the cases. So it looks like it's seen a few summers.
Okay, yeah.
So
for
I
sure,
think
for
it
sure.
had seen better days. But
It sounds very creative, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you've got to do sometimes.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
You know, but you could just spread it all out over the bench. Yeah. So I guess for everyone that wants to water cool their graphics cards, we've been working with EK primarily for water blocks. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite get them here for launch, but they're not far away.
Mm-hmm.
We're expecting deliveries in 23rd of September into both Victoria and WA for EK blocks that suit pretty much all the cards except for the Asus Strix cards, because they have a
Gotcha.
different PCB.
Okay, interesting.
So we're still waiting on an ETA from EK on exactly when that's going to launch and manage to get its way to Australia.
Yeah, but normally EK is pretty quick with that stuff, so
They are.
yeah, we'll keep them near the ground.
I reckon we'd have more problems getting the air freight into Australia than we would getting them out of EK. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you know, that's just part and parcel of international trade at the moment, right?
Absolutely. Due to COVID, it's made everything a bit mad.
Bixby,
Yep.
we obviously do a lot of water cooling parts with Bixby, and Bixby, we're still waiting on a TBA for Bixby blocks. So, but watch this space. We've got the SKUs in our system. They've given us some basic information. We're just waiting on some more information on exactly when we're going to be able to put those up with some pictures and ETAs and those
Gotcha.
sorts of things. Yeah.
Great. I guess this might be the third time that I've shown off the anti-SAG brackets. The decal one's finally fired up since I've turned our test bench off, so you can see that's full RGB. With this little guy on the side here, he certainly doesn't have any RGB. He's pretty bare bones, but if that's what you're looking for your build, that's probably the best one to go
It's a
for.
really cool idea, the Leanne Lee one.
Yeah, because it's almost stealth, isn't it? You can't really see it in there.
So the Leanne Lee bracket is basically a strip of metal with a whole bunch of holes in it,
Yep.
and it actually mounts onto the motherboard standoffs.
Gotcha. So it replaces the screws that would normally hold your motherboard in place.
That's right, yeah. And then it has just a small right angle piece of metal and holds your graphics card up. You can barely see it,
Gotcha.
and we use tons of them. Yeah.
A lot of our custom builds use them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've got an entry on the competition for the Eagle 3080. Kel, do you want to read this one out?
Absolutely. So we've got Daniel tuning in. He says, I'm stuck on a 1080 and desperately need to upgrade in time for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, geez.
1080 though?
1080 is still a pretty good card.
I'm on a 1080 Ti, and
Yeah.
I guess I've got the itch as well. I kind of want to upgrade.
But are you going to be happy running Cyberpunk on a 1080?
I don't think so. I won't be able to ray trace. There's no ray tracing, no DLSS on a 1080.
No, it's going to be challenging. But I think there's still a lot of 980 Ti owners out there that are hanging on to their cards.
Absolutely, they've been waiting a fair few generations now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that 980 Ti owners would be quite comfortable with would be power supply.
Well, those things were monsters, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think the 1080 Ti was up close to the current 3080s as well. So they're both pretty power hungry cards.
Yeah. I mean, we saw quite a few 980 Ti's and even some 1080 Ti's that had 3 PCIe power connectors on them. So
that's a lot of watts.
That is a lot of watts. Yeah. But in terms of power supply, we've seen ASUS have come out with guidance, and they've come out, and I think it was ASUS that they came out and said that, hey, if your power supply is old, you may have problems where it's just not quite as efficient as it used to be. So I think we're going to see a lot of people looking out for a new power supply over the next month or so.
Yeah, as I said earlier, like they're recommending around 750 watts for a power supply. But that does come down to as well, like how overclocked your CPU is, as well as if you're overclocking the GPU. Some of these 3080s can pull close to, from what I've seen, 350 to 400 watts. And some CPUs, like older generations especially, or the new generations, they can pull up to 200 watts as well. And you don't want to run your power supply close to maximum capacity either. So potentially something like an 800 watt or even a 900 watt certainly would be recommended. Yeah,
and I know we've got another entry to read out here, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people in WA watching us today, and I'm sure they'll have a dig at us over this one. But Luke's entry says, as a Melburnian, ray tracing is my only hope for seeing natural light this year.
I feel that. It's bad.
It's tough, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but remember to go in and enter the competition. You've got to be in it to win it. So if you're looking for a free graphics card, I mean, like we all joke around about getting a free graphics card,
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, how many emails do we get saying, hey, can I have a free graphics card?
Every day it seems.
Yeah. But today we're doing it.
Absolutely. It's happening. And a computer in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
All right. What have we got?
That's almost it, really.
Yeah, okay. So is the website back up yet?
Have we hit our
flying blind
guys?
here?
Have we crashed it? I'm having a look here.
Yeah, we're just having a bit of a poke around. At least we're here to entertain you.
Exactly right. You can watch us on stream.
Hopefully we're entertaining. Yeah. No, looking like we've got our techs working on it. So as I say, we're just trying to reroute some traffic. A very unusually large. I think that really speaks to the consumer demand for these products, right?
The absolute volume of people trying to get a card just from our side alone is ridiculous. It crashed it like that. That's massive. I've never heard of that happening in Australia before.
Yeah. No. Well, we got through Black Friday and everything last year without
scot-free,
without a major hiccup. So it's unusual, but it's good for the PC industry.
Absolutely, yeah. There's more and more interest currently, and maybe people are making that shift away from consoles.
Yeah,
like that's a big thing too. I know, like as growing up, I used a lot of consoles, but I shifted to PCs at that time. A lot of my friends stayed on it, but maybe there's a big culture shift that everyone's shifting over to PCs.
Well, I think we've all seen the demand for PCs this year go through the roof because everyone's spending more time at home. There's no international travel and things like that. So there's got to be this big group of people that are just waiting to upgrade, and this is their moment. So
absolutely, and I guess if travel's restricted, no one's sort of holidaying anymore as well. So there's a lot more money to throw around from that side of it.
Yeah. No, it's really exciting because I think the best thing the PC industry can have is a lot of momentum, and moving these things in volume means that we'll be able to, NVIDIA will be investing in the next generation because of the success off the back of these sorts of programs.
Absolutely, yeah, and I guess there's a lot of hype as well with the new AMD cards coming out soon as well. Maybe there's more competition happening soon.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I want to get into AMD versus NVIDIA.
Not on stream.
But I think it's fair to say that this is the best graphics card you can buy at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah, top tier,
and a lot of excitement. We've got another entry to read out here.
You want me to grab this one too?
Yeah, you grab this one.
All right, we've got Christopher says, I need this card so I can test how good my ducted air conditioning Is it keeping my PC cool while enjoying ray tracing? Interesting.
Yeah, gee, that segues us onto a really interesting topic though. Was the difference between the gaming OC gigabyte card that we've got in the custom build here versus the Eagle card that we've got in the test bench here. Do you want to elaborate on what we found with the differences between those?
Yeah, sure. So I think I touched on this a bit earlier. So essentially the gaming OC comes factory overclocked. There is a switch, a little dip switch on the board. I think out of the box it should be on the OC one, but make sure if you do buy this card to check that switch. Essentially, the gaming OC doesn't have as good a cooling solution as the Eagle. With NVIDIA cards, the cooler they are, the higher they can stay at a boost clock. So potentially the Eagle can keep it a higher boost clock, but the OC does come factory overclocked. So you won't have to download any aftermarket software to overclock the card. It's out of the box overclocked.
Yeah, right. But presumably there's still headroom for people to have a tinker.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Especially with the Eagle, being the more expensive card, it's got a better cooling solution compared to the gaming OC. So you'd make the assumption that it does have more overclocking headroom.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these go when we can get a water block on them.
I'm so excited for that.
And have a bit of a play.
Absolutely. Did you want to read this next one out?
Oh, I don't think we're quite ready to read that one out.
All right.
But yeah, so here we go. So Ryan says, my 1080 Ti sagged so much it broke the PCIe connector on the card. Help me out, book it here, boys.
Yikes, that must have been a heavy 1080 Ti.
Oh, geez, that or Australia Post had something to do with it.
Absolutely, it certainly sounds like they could have dropped that on the way to your house, mate. That's shocking. Send a photo in, that would be awesome to see. Man.
Yeah, yeah. We've seen a few forklifts go through PCs in transit. It's a brutal world out in those distribution centres.
Absolutely, and especially now, like considering how crazy deliveries are and everything at the moment, and how delayed everything is. The old boys must be pretty under the pump.
Yeah. No, we've seen a lot of variability in the service levels that we get from Australia Post at the moment.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's been pretty challenging times. And why don't we just touch on Founders Edition?
Okay, yeah, so I've got an old Founders Edition, but I think I'm kind of one of the only few that would have a Founders Edition.
I have a Founders Edition.
You have a Founders Edition?
1070.
1070, okay, yeah, 1080 Ti. But I think we're like a very minuscule amount of customers at the end of the day. A lot of people go to the aftermarket, the AOB boards, because they're quieter and they're cooler, essentially, than the Founders cards.
Yeah, I think people like the variety.
That's true.
They like to make sure that their components match. When we see the orders coming in for systems, by and large, people are looking for their motherboard and graphics card to be the same brand where they can.
Yeah.
Especially with all the RGB lighting.
Absolutely.
That is out now.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is to pick up a PC and have 3 or 4 different programs to control all your lighting.
Yeah, it's like the one they're giving away here. It has one piece of software that does all the RGB, so you don't have to worry about loading 3 or 4 different pieces of software just to control a different set of lights in the case.
Yeah, and so that's the Gigabyte RGB Fusion?
Exactly right.
Yeah, right. And how do you go? You had to play around with the lighting today to get it ready for stream. How'd you find the software?
It's pretty intuitive, like lots of little drop downs. It's pretty simple. It's got color palettes and that sort of stuff. So it was relatively easy for someone who hasn't had much experience with RGB before.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And lots of colours?
Yeah, of course.
Every colour. All
the colours. So. I don't know. I've seen all the colours yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really interesting. We're seeing a lot more cases come out now with addressable lighting strips and addressable fans. So there's a whole range of cases these days that have a whole range of different abilities when it comes to the aesthetics of the build.
Yeah.
We certainly see a lot of people send in photos of their setups when we send them out a new PC. They're obviously really happy with what they get how they get to set up their room.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think is that the whole entry?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right.
Okay, cool. I'll take this one. All right, we've got John here. I don't know where John's from, but he's saying, so I have a reason to get a better monitor. I'd like to know what monitor you're using, John. What excuse you need to get a better monitor.
Yeah. Look, monitors are something that we've seen, a lot of movement on this year.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, I feel like the 1440p screens and the 4K screens have really come of age this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking at Steam did the old Steam survey this year as well, and it looks like there's about 7% off the top of my head of users that were using a 2K panel or a 1440p screen. So that's certainly up from years ago as well. It's becoming, I guess, a bit more of the norm. A lot of people are still sitting on 1080p, but I guess like John, there's more people looking to upgrade from a 1080p panel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2K is a fantastic resolution as well, especially if you're going a bit more budget conscious.
And I tell you what's been really popular are these 49-inch monsters. They really are something else to sit behind.
Absolutely.
We've got a few of our staff around the business have got them on their desks, and they really are something else altogether. But of course, big monitor, lots of pixels. You need a decent graphics card. So
absolutely, especially.
I think that's where John's coming from.
Yeah. I guess I need an excuse to get one too. It would be nice. It would be super nice.
Yeah, and we've seen some really horrific monitor shortages through COVID this year, which has been something that we've never experienced before. I can remember, we have aisles and aisles and aisles of monitors right now, but we got down to a stage where there was like 6 monitors left.
That's wild to think.
The whole category just got completely drained this year.
And that was from the start of COVID or around that? Yeah, gotcha.
Yep. So I know the study at my house where we have a couple of PC for myself and my wife, and then we've also got PCs for the kids. So our study actually has like 6 or 7 27-inch monitors in it. It's just crazy.
Thanks.
But yeah, that's where we all are now. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
That's all right. We've been past messages. I think there's some rumblings in the process here. So 11:26. I think we're waiting out for 11:35 to draw the winner of the Eagle card.
9 minutes to go, guys.
9 minutes. So keep pumping those entries in, because we've got another person that's going through the entries, and we've got a screen up in front of us where they're popping up the ones for us to read. So it's all happening. They're all getting read. It's all going off here.
So speaking of water blocks, are we potentially looking at doing an installation again on stream? Is that something we're looking at doing?
Oh, geez. Do you want to do it?
I'd do it. I'd absolutely do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do it. We can do another stream.
That'd be fantastic.
Don't break my website.
I don't know what happened again. I don't know. It'd be pretty funny if we did, but yeah.
I think one of the things that PLE's always done a bit different to everyone else is doing pre-built water-cooled PCs.
Absolutely.
I think it was in 2011 or 2012 we started shipping out water-cooled PCs. So it was a really great space to kick off, and I think it's been a real staple of what we do with high-end gaming systems, and even high-end desktops for productivity users, CAD, software development, graphics, video, all those sorts of applications where, sometimes in the CAD world you might be wanting to drop, 4 or 5 graphics cards in a system.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon.
It's a lot of heat to have to deal with, and water cooling is ideally optimised to take that heat out in a managed way.
And it certainly tones down the sound level of a system as well. If you've got a couple of cards sitting in there going at full tilt, there's certainly a lot of fans spinning up, that sort of thing with a water cooling system. Obviously that noise is quite muchly reduced.
Yeah, and it's good because you pick the right case and get on the 140mm fans, which obviously being a bigger fan can spin slower. The spinning slower, but being a bigger fan means you get the same airflow but with reduced noise. So
absolutely,
and I think that's a big part of what we all struggle with gaming PCs these days. Heat is obviously becoming a bigger and bigger problem as these graphics cards and CPUs get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, like it's a jump from to 350 watts for these current cards, which is a massive increase over the last generation. So there's a lot more heat output in them as well.
Yeah.
It's almost like a little space heater inside of your case.
Yeah, that's right. I think Ooh, gee.
Ooh.
Or into it?
No, we'll still
Okay.
as planned. Yeah.
Alright.
Yep.
Just give people more time.
Yeah, no worries. Well, we can drag this out a little bit further.
Absolutely. Hassle there. We've got all night.
Yeah, so I think when we talk about the evolution of the chips as we're moving forward, heat's becoming a bigger and bigger problem, and I think testament to that is some of the innovation we're seeing in some of the coolers that we're seeing across all the different manufacturers. The type of cooler on your graphics card has always been part of the decision-making process,
Mhm.
but I feel like now it's starting to become an even bigger part of that decision-making process.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I guess the bigger the cooler is, the quieter the card's going to be, and that's certainly, like you can see this card here on the test bench that is actually running at the moment. The fans aren't even spinning. I don't know if you have an angle on that, but it's certainly a lot quieter than a lot of old cards. I remember my 1080 Ti. It was just a little tiny squirrel cage fan, and that thing made huge amounts of noise, even at low RPMs.
Yeah, that's right.
Compared to this, where it's I can't even hear it, and the fans aren't even spinning.
Yeah. So I think in the next over the next couple of weeks, as we start to get some water blocks and some gear in for the 30 series, we'll be pushing out a water-cooled RTX 3080 build.
Awesome.
So that'll be really exciting to launch out. So we just have to decide how far we go. We've done some pretty crazy systems.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Should it be more or less than 10 grand?
Maybe more.
Maybe
can we
more.
push it that high?
We can push it that high. We have before.
How much can we cram into a case?
Yeah, and it's really great to build these big rigs. It's a lot of fun to get in there and build these big rigs that you only get to trip over every now and then.
Exactly right. Diamonds in the rough almost.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What have we got?
Sorry, guys.
Looking for another entry to read out.
Is it?
Oh no drum roll yet. That's
That's
for
4 minutes.
11:35. Another 5
Alright.
minutes. So encourage everyone to persist with the website. It will come around. Obviously, it's just a volume game.
Correct.
The cards are there, so they're up for grabs. So, oh geez, this looks like a long entry.
Right.
I love these. Sometimes you give these people these competitions, and it's got like this tiny little text box, and then when you copy and paste it out, it's like 15 lines long.
You can see it's almost filling that entire screen. All right.
Oh, we're going to need a name on this one before we can read it out. Name and shame.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Depends what it says.
Ooh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oi!
Look at that. Oh, it's a personal
Kel's
one.
going to
like
have to
that.
read this one out.
What's the name for this one?
Robbie.
Hi, Robbie. So Robbie's said, honestly, if I can get at all close to the fidelity and crispness of those dreadlocks in with a 3080 with RTX lighting, of course, it will truly make my 2020. Good banter tonight, lads. Thanks, Robbie. Appreciate it, mate.
It's nearly a winner.
It's pretty good. It's got my vote.
Well, good thing you don't get to make the decision.
Exactly right. Sorry, Robbie.
No. Well, yeah, but it's a big job to put a live stream like this together. As I said, we were only receiving these cards in the last 48 hours.
Exactly.
Lining up all the information with NVIDIA, liaising with all of the partner brands, especially Gigabyte, to make sure that we had more of these for sale than we have in previous launches, which I think is a really great outcome from our purchasing guys.
Absolutely.
And then here today, there's just a whole suite of gear sitting on the other side of us here. I mean, it just looks so simple.
Yeah, this side of the setup, absolutely. And it was kind of a mad dash to get everything happening at the right time, but we got it all. It all
Yeah,
actually,
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but we'll get some more of these live streams going. Might have to come back around 3090.
Mm-hmm.
I think hopefully with 3090 we'll have a little bit more time with drivers and those sorts of things to potentially get some decent gameplay up in front of everyone.
That'd be awesome too.
As we go along. So
Absolutely.
So 3090. How many people do you reckon are hanging out for a 3090?
Oh, that's a lot of cash to drop on a card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are the prices announced in Australia yet for the 3090?
I don't know if they are, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
It's one of those things you don't want to do on a stream.
Yeah, probably have to fact check that one.
Yeah. But 3090, like, if it's anything like previous generations, it's going to put a big dent in your wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I don't think I could afford it personally. I don't think I can justify it. But there's certainly some people out there can certainly justify a purchase like that.
Yeah. And gee, we've seen some great bargains on 2080 Ti's this week, right?
They've been plummeting recently, haven't they?
Yeah,
Massively.
yeah. It's swings all over the place. So
Mhm.
yeah. So the giveaway's nearly finishing for the 3080 Eagle.
Ooh.
When you go to the website, do make sure that you enter both giveaways because you could win this gaming PC and the 3080 Eagle.
Huge.
I mean, like that'd be awesome, right?
You can't SLI them though.
One for me, one for you. Yeah. Oh, geez. I'd love to see SLI make a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one of those limited things these days. I don't think there's many games that support it, sadly.
Yeah, it just must be so complex to enumerate all those pixels across two graphics cards into one display.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. So I think the giveaway for the 3080 Eagle, I'm not sure what the time says on Gleam, but I think we must be either closed or pretty much closed. So we've got someone going through some of our applicants to find a winner. And of course we've got another launch coming up in October, 3070.
Absolutely.
It's a bit of a surprise. We weren't initially expecting the 3070, but I think that's going to be a great card.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit more of a budget-friendly or conscious card as well compared.
Budget friendly, relatively.
Relatively, yeah. If it's anything like the 10 series cards, like they lasted quite a long time as well. So
Yeah.
certainly, if you're going for a bit more of a budget-conscious build, which certainly a lot of people are doing, maybe the 3070 is the way to go.
Yeah, I think it's a great entry point. You know, you've got that sub $500 card market for people that are kind of just getting into PC gaming.
Yep.
And you can, play pretty much everything at full on 1080p with that sort of price card these days.
Exactly.
So the 3070, we're hoping that is really going to evolve to be something that excels at maybe 1440p, I think.
Yeah, 2K and even pushing maybe 4K with lowered settings, something like that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be a great entry point.
I think it's a very exciting space to see how it evolves, and we're getting told that there's some reasonable stocks coming through of the 3080s as well. So there'll be new deliveries of the 3080s every week. So what we encourage people to do is to buy one on our website and get in the queue. Because that's how our website works. Is that if there's one that's not in stock, you can still place an order, and your spot in the queue will be reserved. So getting and the forecast that we're getting from some of the suppliers is that we should see stock ramping up over the next few weeks. So hopefully we won't see huge big long waits for cards. should be flushing through pretty quickly is what we're seeing so far.
Fantastic.
However, with the number of people just saw on our website,
Yikes.
gee. I think we're edging closer to a winner. I can see some short lifts here.
There's some action happening on that side.
All right. So we have our winner.
Do you want to read this one? I've got this.
No, you can.
I'll take this one.
You can take this one.
All
So this is our winner of the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 3080 Eagle. This is the box. You also get the box, but you also get the card.
Not the test bench. So we have RJ. RJ says, I float around wearing my GTX 970, feeling like I barely exist. I want to be able to walk into work with my head held high, RTX 3080 proudly on the top of my head. I want to be able to answer my son proudly when he asks, Dad, what GPU were you repping? please grant me this power, the power of the RTX30 series.
Wow. Epic.
I love it, RJ. Love it. Congratulations, mate.
Yeah. And I might add, we're just talking about the test bench. So we actually did today was we dug out a Z190 board, Z170 board?
Z190.
And rocking a Intel 6700K CPU. And yeah, it worked really well, guys. So, you know, I think, you know, there's going to be some limitations around the fact that it's DDR3 and we're not seeing PCIe 4 on these older boards.
Yep.
And you've got some other sort of bottlenecks in that aging sort of CPUs, but I mean 6700K is still such a great CPU.
Absolutely. Like I'm still on a 5820K, so even a gen behind that, and it's still kicking. So
yeah. And that was one of the reasons that we actually pulled one of the older boards out of the archive cupboard was to test how it would work, you know, in that upgrade scenario, and we were really happy with the results. So
absolutely, so there was some pretty high frame rates in control from when I was testing that as well, pushing 140 with RTX on.
Yeah, in fact, because we have the two systems up here hooked up on a KVM of sorts, we actually installed control on the old system.
Unknowingly.
Unknowingly, and it was only after about half an hour of gameplay that it was like, hey, this is on the wrong computer. So we moved it over, and there was of course a bump up in performance.
Yeah.
And I guess we're not going to dive into all the nitty gritty of the performance data, because you know you've all got your favourite influencer or reviewer that has all that information.
Absolutely.
Collated with 30 different graphics cards in comparison and all the rest of it, right? You know, so we're not going to try and repeat what the good work that those guys are doing, but yeah, as anecdotally, we were really happy with the performance of the 6700K with the 3080. So I think it's definitely a real upgrade option for a big part of the market.
All right.
So that's the RTX 3080. Keep on with the website, guys. We're going to go and see if we can nut out some more traffic management on that side of things. There's plenty of cards available, so get in there and persist through and get onto it. Remember to enter the competition for the giveaway PC, and make sure you stop by all our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and hit us up a like on all of those. That'll be most appreciated, and we'll try and nut out a couple more live streams over the next 6 weeks.
Exciting times.
All right, so I think that's pretty much a wrap, hey?
Let's do it.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to stay and watch us, and we look forward to seeing your orders in the system.
Can't wait. It's going to be a big day.
Look forward to seeing your entries in for the giveaway system as well. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay safe and good night.